Hello everyone, and welcome back to Technically Unsure, where I'm not really sure what I'm doing technically.
Smile, my boy.
Technically Unsure. So today I'm going to take a look at something very exciting. I'm gonna be honest, I've never tested anything like this. A cluster of CM compute modules of any kind, a CM4 or the Raxos CM5 now, which is out. This board has been sent to me by the company with no control over the content. The usual, if there is something that's not working or hard to use or not documented well, we will keep that in the video as well. So let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this. So this is the DeskPi Super6C for Raspberry Pi CM4. And I've seen on their GitHub page that other similar CM compute modules are also compatible with this. So with that in mind, let's unbox it and see what is inside of it. I'm glad that they're shipping it with a power adapter. I had trouble with it in the past with some boards that didn't have a power supply. So okay, here we go. So that's the Mickey Mouse power adapter that you put it in there. And the output is 19 volt 4.73 amp. Okay, so 90 watts almost. And then this is the board, and there is some documentation, which is awesome because we're gonna need it. So it is going over the specification and everything. So it seems like it is a miniitx 170 by 170, so it's 170 by 170. But before that, let me take it out so you guys can see it and I can see it as well. So here you go, CM4 number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, that's an odd orientation, but it is what it is. And oh, I see that you can power it with the power supply, half of it. So you can power it. We had another motherboard we reviewed that was accepting something like this, which is nice. There are two fan headers I see here, fan connectors. There are two buttons here, click key. There is a micro USB port, looks like in here next to each of them. Like, yes, so where is the first one? It's probably over here. Yeah, so that's the first one, I guess. And then the second here, third here, and fourth, fifth, and sixth. So there are like 6 micro USB connectors to probably program the CM4s while they are there. In terms of I/O, here are the USB 3 USB ports, and then there is indicator lights for each of the compute modules, and 2 HDMIs full size, and a micro USB here for programming most likely, 2 Gigabit connections, and a barrel jack, which is this one that goes right there. Okay. And in the back, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 NVMe SSD slot, 2280. And these are, I think, yeah, they are connected to the CM 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, in an odd order. I don't know if that it's intentional or doesn't have a purpose, but it is 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, and 6. And then there is also 6 micro SD slot for each CM module, if your CM module doesn't have onboard eMMC. And I see that I have to take out a lot of these stickers. So I will be right back. Hold on. Let me take those out quickly. I find it to be easier to push it from this side and then grab it from the other side like that. Okay. And then put it on the foam and the padding. That was a lot of work, honestly. That was a lot of work. So, and we have a couple of screws. I believe these are for the NVMe SSDs in the back. So what I'm gonna do is I actually have 6 ready to go compute modules, brand new. And these compute modules are all 8 GB RAM and 8 GB, I believe 8 GB RAM and 8 GB eMMC. So I'm going to unbox each and every one of these and put it in there. Let's go into fast forward. So seems like I got it to work. We'll test that later. For now, we're gonna go with the official adapter, and I have to flash operating system into each one of these one by one. Yeah, so that's gonna take a while. And in the back, I will need to insert 6 NVMe SSDs. So I should have those somewhere here. Yeah, okay, give me a couple minutes. Let me take care of the NVMe SSDs plus operating system on each one of these. I will be right back. Okay, so I was just keep going and going. First of all, I just love the board. I love the documentation and everything they've done. It was so easy, but overall, I was just going. I decided to pause for a second. I was just installing operating system on every one of these. I just want to show you how you can do it. I forgot that that also matters, right? So what you have to do is, I installed the OS on the first one and second one. So for the third one, you guys gonna join me. So there is a jumper over here, right? This jumper comes pre-installed over here somewhere. So you take that jumper, you put it on the first one, you know, the vertical way, this way. The first row, so you put it in there on the first row, so that makes it not boot from the eMMC, okay? And then once you remove it, it will actually boot from eMMC. I already saw that this OS booted in, and I saw the IP address and everything's working. I'm flashing the light version. I don't want a desktop, but I still see it on the HDMI. What I did was I flashed the light version into this, light version into this, and now it's this one's turn, okay? So in order to do that, before that, I just want to show you guys my screen, okay? So here they actually have very comprehensive documentation for everything, which I really appreciate. That is a very big plus for me. I really want to see everyone doing this, but yeah, it's not that common. So what you have to do is you just run the RPi boot app, okay? So once you run the RPi boot app, it's just basically waiting. And when you install it, there is the link. So you just follow the guide in here. Somewhere in here, there was the link. I downloaded and installed it. I mean, it's just the Raspberry Pi boot imager, the Raspberry Pi imager downloaded from anywhere. Here, there's the installer, okay? RPi boot setup. So I installed it, which you need to do because it installs the drivers, okay? And then you keep this terminal up. So you have this terminal up, okay? While that is up and while you block the SSD boot, now we are going to power this board. You will see there is only one red light comes on over here. Okay, you see that? There you go. Okay. Now I want to plug this into here. So this is now we are going to flash the third one. So I'm going to plug that in the third one. Okay. And then you press the first button in here to start and look what happens. Look what happens. And look on your screen. There you go. It automatically detected this one and it's in the programming mode. And as you can see, it is flashing the boot code and now it's gonna mount it, there you go, as a disk. It's gonna say, do you wanna format it? You say just no. And then you load up the Raspberry Pi. I just keep going 1, 2, 3 and I'm flashing. So just choose the OS, don't change any of this. I already said all those. And even in the settings, I just edit this. You see RPi CM4-2, now it's -3. Just change that so you don't confuse and, you know, so you know which one is which, okay? Save that and then say yes and then say yes. Look at that. Now it's flashing the OS into this one. And if I want to show you that this one is actually booted in the HDMI, we can go here. There you go. As you can see, it is booted and this is the HDMI. Now, if I connect the mouse and keyboard to it, which I did, now look, unsure and unsure. Look at that. And if I do IP address, that's the first one. If I do hostname, you will see that's the first one, okay? And I did the second one, and now we are flashing the third one, okay? So that's all you have to remember. So basically, remember two things, okay? Put the first jumper, block the first two lines, vertical, this way, okay? Connect these two, not block, connect these two pins together, okay, with the jumper. And then plug the USB-C, micro USB cable, power it up, just one light comes on, wait, press the power button, have the RPi boot open though, have the RPi boot app open, then press this button, it will flash, and then you will be able to use the Raspberry Pi imager to install an operating system into it. Good? So that I just wanted to show you very quickly. Now give me more time. I have to go, actually I just did 2, so third now, 3 more to go. Then I will show you how this beautiful board powers up all my 6 Raspberry Pi CM4 modules, and how can I do stuff with this, all right? So just keep that in mind. I will be right back. Okay, so we are back, and here's the deal. Remember this from the previous video? So there is just a Raspberry Pi inside this, okay? If you haven't seen the other video, it doesn't matter. If you wanna go check it out, this is from Waveshare, it doesn't matter. There is just one Raspberry Pi 5 inside this. So what I'm gonna do is now we are going to turn this all 6 nodes on, and I'm gonna use this to do some scalable things on all of these CM4s, okay? So this is going to be controller for all the CM4s. And for that, first I'm going to turn this on, boot into it, okay? And as that one is booting, we are going to power this one up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 CM4s to boot, okay? We click on it, there you go. So these all will boot now, and I already checked the MAC address of these, and I went to my pfSense, to my firewall, and I was able to get the IP addresses of all these 4s. They are not in order, doesn't matter, but I know which is which, okay? So we are going to do, okay, we already booted into Raspberry Pi 5. That's this device, okay? So whatever you see on the screen, it's going to be this device and me trying to control it. So one of the first things that I want to be able to do is to install Ansible on this and manage all these individual CM4s with a single Ansible. Let's say I want to execute and install something on this. Let's say, I don't know, Nginx or Kubernetes or something. I don't want to SSH into every single one of these and one by one install Kubernetes. That I don't want to do. I want to do all through automation, through Ansible. So we are going to do install Ansible. Okay, so we are installing Ansible in this bad boy with Raspberry Pi 5 that will run and manage all these single computers, okay? And I'm gonna show you how I'm going to do that. I just want to tell you that I just fell in love with this board. This is so nice. Every single one of these is working fine. And I know this is not the real heatsink for the CM4. I have my order already. It's gonna arrive in I think tomorrow or the next day. I just didn't want to wait. I just got so excited to be able to run this. I started recording the video. So we have to go with this, okay? You don't do what I did, just get a proper, it's like $6, a real heatsink, passive cooling for CM4. Doesn't matter. Let's get back to what we have in here, okay? Okay, so this is the documentation, and the better one is on the website, okay? So now let's go to, so we are going to install one more tool. That's called SSH Pass. Because I didn't add SSH keys to this, I just used username and password to log into these. I'm going to install SSH Pass. That's going to be needed in Ansible. So let's try one of them, the CM4 node number 1, okay? So let's do SSH unsure and 172.16.1.155. There you go. Okay, unsure technically. There you go. That's node 1. Okay, and host name, as you can see, that's rpi CM4 1. Okay, now let's leave this one, and the second node is 56. Yes, and then unsure technically. There you go. That's the CM4-2. Okay, that's the host name. All right. Now let's keep going. That's 56. The next one is 131. Now, what I'm gonna do is I am going to create an etc Ansible folder, okay? That's the default location. If you don't wanna do default, you can do it with a custom file, but then you have to pass it as argument every single time you wanna run Ansible. Let's go with the default. So we do nano etc Ansible, And then you have to create a file called hosts, okay? And I'm gonna add all the IP addresses, 172.16.1 and then 155. So 172.16.156, 172.16.1, 131, 172.16.1, 136, 172.16.1, 55, 172.16.1, 58. Okay, and what I'm gonna do, 58, and what I'm gonna do is I'm going to provide the default username and password for the SSH. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to just say all vars, so defining a variable for all the nodes that I have. It's same username, same password. Okay, so Ansible connection is actually through SSH, and Ansible user is unsure. Ansible SSH pass is unsure technically, okay? And now we have to check, are the config, this config is correct? Can I see all these things? So what I have to do is we just have to say Ansible all, I want to test all of them, and then ping. Let's see what happens. There you go, ping pong, ping pong. Every single one of those are turned back green. Okay, let me make this bigger so you can see it all. There you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All 6 nodes I was able to connect and do a ping and get a pong from all the 6 devices. All right, and now what I can do is I can execute a command on across all these 6 devices. What I can do, I can say Ansible all-m shell, the module to be shell, and the command is hostname, right? Let's do hostname. Okay. Now let's see what happens. There you go. Boom, 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 boom. 5, 3, 2, 1, 4, 6. I'm getting that. You want to run a command across all devices? That's all you have to do. Just run the command in there, and that's all you need, and you will get the results back from every single device. Okay? So now we have that. What I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to try to make this computer the main node for Kubernetes, okay? And this is going to be the main node for Kubernetes, and this is going to be main node for Kubernetes, and it will control all these devices. We are gonna make these part of this as well. Okay, so what we have to do is, do we have curl? Yeah, of course. So curl sfl, and the URL is the get.k3s.io. Okay, so you get that, and then we have to do, only thing we have to pass is we have to say kube config mode equals 644. Oh my God. Okay, and then sh-s-, okay? That's all the command. That's just the default command just to install the Kubernetes, okay? Here's the deal. You have to go to, let me cat, boot firmware cmd line.txt. So you see this one was missing in Raspberry Pi. I had to add this, C group underline memory equals 1, C group underline enable equals memory, and then reboot the system, and then the K3 service started. And as you can see, it is listening on 6443, okay? So you have to do that in order to get the Kubernetes to work on Raspberry Pi OS, okay? Now, what we have to do is, now we have to get the token from our server, and also I need the IP address. So IP address for my machine is 172.16.1.142, okay? And I have to take that down, write that somewhere. Okay, I'll come back to it, okay? So what I have to do is also, I have to get the node token. So the token, the key, the master node key from this, so we can push it to all these devices, okay? So what I have to do is I have to say cat var lib rancher, and then k3s server, and then node dash token, okay? There you go. So this is our token. We need this, okay? I'm going to copy that. And then finally, what I have to do is I have to execute the same command. So let me prepare the notepad, okay? Okay, so what I have to do is I have to run the same command. So first let me paste this, okay? And then the same command that I ran to install the K3S, the Kubernetes service. Okay, let me go back. There you go. Okay, so I am going to copy this as well. Okay, so what we have to do is I have to pass this, but in addition to that, after that, in here, I have to say K3S underline token equals, okay, and then this, okay, and then I have to say K3S underline URL equals HTTPS, okay, and the 172.16.1.143, I believe. What is it? 142. Okay, 142, and the port is 6443, as you saw. Okay, and then we have to say K3S underline node underline name equals, and then we can say pi cluster, I guess. You can name it something. Okay, and then sh and then dash. All right, so I have to execute this command. Let me show you the whole thing. Okay, curl and then this get that k3s.io, and then k3s token is this one that I read it, and then URL is the IP address of this master node plus the name, which is pi cluster, and then sh dash. Okay, and then we execute that. Now what I have to do is, remember where I had the Ansible commands to execute? Remember, let's first confirm that. Ansible all-mm shell-a, I guess host name, right? Or ID, doesn't matter. Okay, let's make sure these are all still all visible. There you go. Okay, all visible. Now I have to change the command to what I just typed in here. Okay, so we have to escape these code characters because we're already going to put this inside another one. Okay, let's escape this and now copy this and go here and now paste over here. Okay, and don't forget we have to do sudo because we are installing something in the system. Okay, so now we are doing sudo curl a URL with the token and the server's URL and the node name. Okay, let's see if this works. Okay, so as you see in right here in the screen, it says the same exact same thing, that it is missing this part. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this. Okay, and I guess I can do it with Kubernetes. I would rather not. So I am going to basically SSH into each one, add that to CMD line and reboot it. So we're going to go into fast forward mode. Okay, I edited every single one of them one by one, and I added this C group underline memory equals 1, C group underline enable equals memory. Okay, I added that to boot firmware cmdline.txt at the end of that line and then rebooted it. So let me wait for a bit so all these nodes boot, and then I'm gonna do another test. I'm gonna do Ansible all-m ping. So I'm gonna ping all of these to see if they have rebooted or not. Okay. Well, they are. Okay, now let's repeat the same command, exact same command. Ansible install with all those arguments. Let's do it again. And I actually need to, maybe I need to install IP tables as well, but we'll see if it works without IP tables. Let's see. Oh. Okay. Okay, so it seems like it worked, but then because nothing changed, it doesn't start the service. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write this one. Ansible all-m shell-a service K3s start. I think it is K3s. Let me see. Service K3. Yep. Okay. So I'm going to run on all of them service k3s start. Let's start k3s on all. Well, it didn't work. Okay. Let me debug this. Okay, I figured it out what I'm messing up. Okay, after debugging, yeah, paying attention, that's what I'm messing up. So first of all, I have to run this command on every single one of those and uninstall it. Okay, so what we have to do is I have to say Ansible all m shell a, and then I have to say run this. Okay, and I have to run it with sudo. Okay, so first we have to uninstall the agent from every single node that I did wrong. So you can do the same thing. If you mess up something, you can do this and remove it from every single node. Okay, so clear it up. Now, what we have to do is we are using the same name for every single node. That's where I messed up. So in here, we have to delete this. Okay, and we have to say, that's the thing. So if I run it with like this with a host name, it is going to now execute that in this machine. Okay, so we have to do is escape that. So I have to copy backslash and do 1, 2, 3, and in here 1, 2, 3. So we have to pass the host name as a node name. Okay, now let's try again. Where were we? Not that one, this one. Okay, we have to run this. Okay, so Ansible all m shell dash a, run this, go to the end and backtick. Okay, now let's try again. So now it's going to install it, and node name of every single node will be the host name on every single machine. Okay, I just did backtick host name to get the host name. I just wanted to make sure it's not getting executed in this main cluster, because backtick will be executed in shell, in bash, wherever you execute it. So hopefully the 3 backslash is going to escape that, and it's going to pass it as is, and host name will be received on each node. So we'll see that soon. So I installed on every single one of these and made the node name to be the host name of each device. Okay, and finally in the master node, what we can do is we can say kubectl get nodes, and there you go, there you have it. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I have all these 6 underneath the Kubernetes and kubectl, so here I can manage every single of these compute modules. That's all for this video. I just want to say this is an amazing board, honestly, and it makes everything much easier. And as you can see, the power consumption is around like 10 watts for all these devices, and remember that all of these devices also have NVMe SSD connected to it, although it's not being used, but it is connected. And like when we run a command on these devices, Ansible all m shell, you know, let's say ID or something, when we're communicating with every single device, it goes up to 13, 14 watts and comes back. That's pretty much it. So it's doing great. I showed you how to set up Ansible on all these devices. I showed you how to set up Kubernetes and control it on all these devices. And this is an amazing board. I wanted to introduce you to you guys. Let me know if you have any questions, any suggestions, and I'm here. I'll try to answer it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.